Let's see. So
Yeah.
we were saying three components of that. Lot of cash available with few people. Then few people will decide what to buy, what not to buy, their preferences, their needs, NGDF, whatever is their NGDF. They will spend as per that. And whatever they will buy, there will be more demand for that. And whatever is they are buying and there is more demand, there is the one, the sectors will grow. There the prices will rise and follow on mechanism will happen. If some people and some cash, then some people will decide what to buy, but they will be able to buy only with some cash, whatever little cash or more cash they have. But the best thing happens when lots of people have lots of cash. The best thing happens when lots of people have lots of cash. That is the time the economy really grows. And that is the time which we should be looking at it to say that the market is really growing and market is really doing well. That is the time all that related parameters, what we were saying, those parameters start giving clear signal that yes, 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 market is growing. And many times why people get confused, because they may get confused with few people having lot of cash. And they say, no, economy is doing very good. Economy is increasing with so and so is fast pace and all those things. They may be buying expensive products. They may have a lot of cash. They may buy a lot of expensive products. And they may say, okay, the demand of that is increasing. Finally, economy is क्या? GDP. तो GDP बढ़ गई उससे. टैक्स बहुत सारा बढ़ा दीजिए. तो और फिर GDP बढ़ जाएगी. So that is where we get confused. So what are we trying to say? We are saying we should be looking at it when lots of people have lots of cash, and because of that, there is growth in overall economy. All sectors, they grow together. We will learn later on why growing of all sector is important. We will learn that why if few sectors only go up, then this cycle becomes distorted. So when all sectors they grow, when a lot of people, that means multiple choices, that means all type of products, when they grow, then the growth of economy is faster and more lasting. And the rate also increases. The rate also increases. And that is a time to say that now we are peaking. And that peak is the one which takes up to 4 trillion economy to 6 trillion economy. It should not happen. We reach to 6 trillion and after some time some problem happens, we come back again to 4. दुनिया में तो बहुत सारे कंट्रीज हैं जिनकी इकोनॉमी बहुत तेजी से बढ़ती थी. कभी तो वेनेजुला की इकोनॉमी एकदम आसमान की तरफ जा रही थी और फिर कंट्रैक्ट होकर खत्म हो गई. तो we are looking for the lasting because we are the long time investors. Because we are the long time investors. So we are looking for the long term economic growth. Okay. Same applies for the product. Same applies for product and companies. Same applies for product and companies. If the products of the companies do not remain relevant with time, if the product of the companies do not remain relevant with the time, then what happens? Then people will buy only what is must for them to buy. And they will buy only limited things to buy. And other things, other than NGDF, they will try to fulfill from some other market. It wasn't what the case that हम लोग लैपटॉप के लिए वेट करते थे कि भाई कौन बाहर से आ रहा है तो हमारे लिए एक लैपटॉप ले आना। वाजन द केस कि हम कहते थे भाई हमारे लिए वहां से एक हमारे रिलेटिव ने वहां से हमें एक मोबाइल भेज दिया है। सो सेकंड पार्ट इज इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट। The products which are available, products which are attracting your cash, they also should be relevant. They should be relevant with time. As long as the economy, as long as the economy, as long as the companies which give those products, they are able to give you products which are relevant with the time, then your cash get well consumed. And if your cash is buying because of some compulsion or other, the products which are not relevant, then the growth of the economy doesn't last. And always risk remains that moment the new markets will open, then you may find that your economy has contracted because the cash has started shifting to better products. The cash will always move towards the value. The cash will always towards the value, and value is in the minds of buyer and seller. So the one who is trying to buy, the one who is wanting to spend the own cash, जो अपना कैश लेके जा रहा है खरीदने के लिए, वो तो वैल्यू को ही खरीदेगा। और वैल्यू खरीदने के लिए वो जहां भी मिलेगा वहां से खरीदेगा। तो इसलिए प्रोडक्ट ऑल्सो शुड बी टाइम रेलिवेंट। How does the product become time relevant? The product becomes time relevant by technology. The product becomes time relevant by technology. And technology requires to be supported by governance and so many other things. So, the technology which is relevant, which is current, which is advanced, which will give the products which are more economic, more useful, more attractive for your cash, then the cash will move towards value, means towards those companies, and those companies or sectors will grow. They will voluntarily grow. It's like this. Suppose tomorrow, I'm just for the sake of example, I am saying, suppose tomorrow bullet train starts running. One day or other it will run. So Mumbai to Ahmedabad, so you will reach in few hours. But to go from Ahmedabad station to your house, also if you are taking the same amount of time, बिकॉज जाना तो घर पड़ेगा ही ना, स्टेशन पे थोड़ी रुक जाएंगे आप। सो देन व्हाट विल हैपन? द मुंबई टू अहमदाबाद कैश वाज because of different reason, because there was a very advanced train which was working, and that is why you were using that. But Ahmedabad station to your house or Bombay station to your house, if you are going to invest, you are forced to invest that cash. You are forced to invest that cash. And the day the flying taxi will come, then you will find all those products which have gone waste and everybody's cash has shifted to flying taxi or whatever is the other option available to you. Same thing happened when the hovercraft was started in Bombay. Same thing was happened when the hovercraft was started from Bombay, from that gateway of India to Vashi. I think it used to go somewhere, isn't it? Although number was only one or two, but had it been 100 aircrafts working, then maybe railway की सारी local train की वो इनकम खत्म हो जाती. So the point I'm trying to make is, like we said, on cash, three types. Same applies for the products. Just people are buying products. That means just companies are running at this point of time does not guarantee you that economic cycle is in the healthy state. You may be buying product because you are forced to buy because they know the choice available. The best thing is when you buy the product of the value which you are happy to acquire. That means that technological upgradation in economy is very important for the long lasting growth of the economy. And when that happens, then the growth of the economy is sustaining faster, healthier. And when we bring it to company level, then company also becomes enthusiastic to spend their own cash. Then companies also become enthusiastic to spend their own cash. They go for growth, they go for better technology, they go for better products, they go for better machinery. And finally, what happens? The case becomes is more cash available with more people. And that peaking of economy is the significant growth in the economy. That is the growth rate we are looking for. And when that phase happens, that is the fundamentally best time of the even stock or equity market. That is why all rise in equity markets are not always long lasting. That is why um, some growth in the equity market, some good days of equity market, they are there, but they don't last, and then they sink again. But when the real growth happens, then it is such a powerful force that everything grows. That is exactly what happened after the COVID. After the COVID, suddenly people had a lot of cash. They also had a lot of choices. And suddenly the demand so built up that other places in the world, somebody that phase was not there, somebody was lagging phase, somebody was leading phase, and suddenly lots of products started being getting available very fast, very easily, because somebody had the production but no market. And almost all countries, they saw the phase of high growth rates, high equity markets. Somebody had yesterday, somebody had tomorrow, somebody had today. Means time was different because of the different same reason happening at different point of time. So what I have defined now here is how to look at the economic cycle, how to assess yourself whether this economic cycle is a healthy economic cycle growth or not. Is it lasting growth or it is not a lasting growth? For that, I gave some broad examples which are they are not very difficult to identify. They are much easier. I haven't gone for the mathematical part because that anyway is difficult to apply or you can see it anywhere. Okay. So let's summarize this economic cycle. Peak now, as the our diagram also is saying, economy generates growth, right? Sector letter will come little later on. But already we have reached to the stage when we say that growth led by few people with more of lot of cash, some people with some cash, and lot of people with lot of cash that will make all the difference. That means it is depending upon growth, depending upon cash as well as the product, both. Up till there we have reached growth, which is we have broken into two components, cash and product. Product also we have taken to governance, technology, and so on and so thing. Cash also we have broken in three components. And we will pick up that and then move to sector rotation cycle. Then what happens finally? Because it's not easy to assess, that means some people will overspend it, some people will get over enthusiastic, some people will become pessimistic, some people have different reasons to believe, everyone will assess. And finally, what happens? It will peak. Now, here the point is that there is no fixed point at which say the growth has finished now. So often, sentiments of the people take it above the point is like elastic band. You keep pulling the elastic band, the people will keep pulling the elastic band, keep pulling, and one day it will start breaking. So, sentiments of the people or the technical investors or the people, those who are very calculative in nature, or the people, those who are only looking for fundamentals, or the people, those who are only looking for fundamentals of economy, economists, right? They will all have different perspective of the same peak. And in that process, peak will go much beyond its logical value. And naturally, after some time, it will not match with the reality. It will not match with the reality. What will be that condition? That means the demand for products have gone beyond the logical limits. The cash has overflown towards the product, and we have forgotten that we must also have emergency fund. We must also have so and so many things before we come to that. So we forget all the fundamental things and we only go on spending, and we overspend the money. Doesn't it happen with us? In great sentiments, when you go on holidays, you went with a budget of 1 lakh, but you finally end up spending 5 lakhs. It happens. You thought your child should get admitted to with so and so fees, but finally, because of whatever reason, you landed up admitting him in some other school or college which was beyond your means. It always happens. It can be one reason or other reason because 10 people went in the colony to that college. You say, no, no, my child also should go. Same happened with clothes, same happened with your car, same happened with your house, same happened with the house interiors, same thing. Same thing happens with the economy because all this is equal to economy. So when this happens, then that inflated state of economy, that inflated state of demand of products, the cash has dried up. That much cash actually is not available. Maybe you have drawn too much of loan from the banks. Maybe you have a personal loan EMIs are now exceeding your income and all. And then what happens? Then the recession starts. Now, suddenly you have to stop buying because cash ही नहीं बचा. बैंक ने उधार लेने से बंद कर दिया. सिविल स्कोर खराब होना शुरू हो गया. बैंक का पैसा दे रहा है, एम्प्लॉयर जो है वो ने सारा पैसा तो ग्रोथ में लगा दिया और आपके पास अब कैश की कमी होनी शुरू हो गई. Again, is it the few people having the problem, or some people are having with some problem, or lot of people having with lot of problem? That will make the difference. But finally, the beauty of economic sector rotation cycle is that you cannot live in isolation. It cannot happen that only luxury goods sector will keep increasing for infinite time and all other consumer sector and all that they will get finished. It doesn't happen. That is the beauty of sector rotation cycle when we will come to that. So then what happens? The demand will start falling. Demand will start falling. The sale of the companies will start falling. If the sale of companies will start running, their profit will start getting reduced. Then क्या होगा? Stock prices will start getting reduced. Then when the sale start, government will start getting less tax. Government will have to do a lot of other government will borrowings will start. So many things will happen. And finally, one day will come, this also will go to that extreme. जब लोग खर्च ही नहीं करेंगे वो पैसे को इकट्ठा करना शुरू कर देंगे. What is happening today? इतना करने के बाद भी कंजप्शन बढ़ ही नहीं रहा है। इतना करने के बाद भी लोग खर्चा करने को तैयार नहीं है। जो नाउ दे आर फाइलिंग द इम्पोर्टेंस, अरे नहीं नहीं, इमरजेंसी फंड पहले जरूरी है, पहले वो जरूरी है, दो थिंग, उसके बाद जब होगा तब हम जो है इक्विटी मार्केट में पैसा डालेंगे। या सेम वे, ये हम सारी एसेंशियल पहले नीड्स पे फोकस करेंगे, फिर ग्रीड पे करेंगे, या पहले फियर पे फोकस करेंगे, फिर नीड्स पे करेंगे फोकस, और उसके बाद ग्रीड्स एंड ड्रीम पे जाएंगे। Because all are interlinked. Someday it will happen that other extreme will happen, that we will go into recession. Recession means what? Growth खत्म हो गई, ग्रोथ कम हो गई, ग्रोथ माने ग्रोथ रेट कम हो गई। I think the next session or some other session we should look at it, the GDP versus growth rate curve. We had been saying GDP is not the correct measure of economic growth. It is only one of the parameters. There are so many other factors are also there, and growth rate is a more important factor. So someday we should look at it, the curve of, or any member can find out. You can just Google and find it, and you can post it in the curve. The last 10 years or last 15 years, whatever, 10 years is a good period of two economic cycle equivalent, right? In last 10 years, that what had been the growth rate of this country. That will give us a fairly good idea. And 10 years also includes the COVID and all these disturbances global. So you'll get a very good idea. So, recover, recession. Then, as we said, जब ये over हो, every time over will happen. Every time over happen, because there are people who are, everyone is not financially literate. Everyone is not economist. Everyone doesn't know how to analyze it. They are only looking at it other. Many people are looking at TV channels. Many people are looking at magazines, newspapers, and most of the people are only listening to, millions of people go for what? They go in the political rallies. तो सबसे ज्यादा लोग तो वो सुन रहे हैं. So whatever they are saying, they are believing that. So everywhere we go to some extreme. So we go to extreme of the recession. उस टाइम लगता है सब बंद हो गया, सब बुरा हो गया. Then what will happen? The cash is now getting accumulated. Then again recovery will start. Then recovery phase will come. Now, all of them, why they are not equal in size? All of them, why they are not equal in size? Because some events happen, some invention happen, some technological disruption happen, some aid come from different countries. Because sometimes the debt market that changes suddenly. Sometimes the debt market changes suddenly because of debt market is own drivers. Debt market has own drivers, right? जापान के पास सरप्लस कैश हो गया, वो जापान डिफ्लेशन में चला गया, अब उसको तो पैसा उसका पड़ा है, उसकी उससे तो लॉस हो रहा है उसको, तो वो तो 0.5% में भी आपको लोन दे देगा, वो तो 0.5% पे भी आपको लोन दे देगा. तो जापान कहेगा लो लो यार, लोन ले लो, 5% पे ले लो, फ्री में ले लो लोन, फ्री में ले लो, मैं डिफ्लेशन में जा रहा हूं. तो सडनली यू फाइंड डेप्थ मार्केट के कारण, उसके रीजन डिफरेंट है, बट डेप्थ मार्केट से आने पैसा इतना आ गया कि इक्विटी मार्केट. सो recovery phase, all these kind of things happen, recovery, then suddenly things start looking good, demand start building up, right? One thing more happen, when this bad phase happens in the economy, when people start buying, then everyone get worried. तो उस दिन सबको चिंता होने लगती है. पीपल आर वरीड कि यार खरीद नहीं रहे हैं, कुछ वट एवर इज द रीजन, राइट? हो सकता है इनकम कम हो सकता है कुछ भी हो गया हो. कंपनीज आर वरीड, भाई सेल ही नहीं हो रही है. कंपनीज आर वरीड, सेल ही नहीं हो रही है, प्राइस घटा देंगे कि भाई अब सस्ते में खरीद लो, हर चीज सस्ते में अवेलेबल हो जाएगी. जो होल्डर्स थे, जो स्टोर कीपर्स थे, जो सारे वेयर हाउसेज होल्डर थे, वो कहेंगे फायदे ही नहीं, कोई किराया तो मिल ही नहीं रहा है, तो कहेंगे भाई चलो इसको मार्केट में निकाल के बेचो किसी भी दाम। ऑल दिस थिंग्स विल हैपन, ऑल दिस थिंग्स विल हैपन। फिर गवर्नमेंट आएगी, गवर्नमेंट कहेगी कि अरे भाई सेल नहीं हो रहा है, तो ऐसे तो फिर क्या होगा, टैक्स कलेक्शन में प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी, या हमारे बैंक्स को प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी, बैंक के एनपीएस बढ़ने शुरू हो जाएंगे, लोगों की ईएमआई ज्यादा बढ़ जाएगी, है ना, लोग की डिमांड्स अलग अलग हो जाएंगी, लोग एक्सपेंसिव चीजें खरीदना बंद कर देंगे। ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, few people lot of cash, some people some cash, lots of people lots of cash, or lots of people no cash, lots of people less cash, some people less cash, right? So same thing vice versa. And we have always learned is what we should be focusing is lots of people and what is happening with them. So the masses makes a difference. That is the power of economic cycle. सो गवर्नमेंट भी आ जाएगी, गवर्नमेंट भी कहेगी अरे भाई अब कुछ ये करो, टैक्स कम कर दो, अब इनको ये बेनिफिट दे दो, उनको ये बेनिफिट दे दो। जब सब कुछ करके गवर्नमेंट कहती है कि अब हम कुछ नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, राइट, तो गवर्नमेंट के अंडर में जितने भी कंट्रोलिंग वो होते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, वो लोग भी शुरू हो जाते हैं, बिकॉज दे आर ऑल्सो नाउ वरी। उन्हीं के कारण तो गवर्नमेंट को वरी हुई, अगर वो खुश होते तो गवर्नमेंट क्यों नाराज होती। तो सब लोग अपनी तरफ से कुछ भी करेंगे आपको, दैट इज जैसे गवर्नमेंट्स विल डू एवरीथिंग इन देयर हैंड, गवर्नमेंट्स विल डू एवरीथिंग इन हैंड व्हेन इकोनॉमी यू डोंट सी इज रिकवरिंग, व्हेन यू से इकोनॉमीज ग्रोथ रेट आर रिड्यूसिंग, देन गवर्नमेंट्स विल डू एवरीथिंग। और गवर्नमेंट वो स्टेज लाने नहीं देगी, गवर्नमेंट वो स्टेज आना के माने कि तो सब गड़बड़ हो गया। So you will like to increase your expansion phase more. That is what is the good governance. When your expansion phase is the largest and the recession phase is the smallest. So that is the recovery stage. That is the recovery stage. जब रिकवरी होने लगती है, देन सेम थिंग नाउ नेक्स्ट विल हैपन व्हाट, जब अच्छे दिन आपको दिखने लगते हैं और फिर कंपनी को भी फील होने लगता है, कंपनी को भी लगता नहीं ये अच्छे दिन सेल्फ सस्टेनिंग है, नाउ मोर कैश इज अवेलेबल विद मोर पीपल, विद लॉट ऑफ कैश इज अवेलेबल विद लॉट ऑफ पीपल, देन कंपनीज आल्सो विल स्टार्ट स्पेंडिंग देयर कैश। So companies are very, businesses are very smart. They keep looking at it. ये पैसा आ किसका रहा है? इज इट द गवर्नमेंट कैश? क्या गवर्नमेंट सबको फ्री में बांट रही है और वही लोग स्पेंड कर रहे हैं? Then companies you will find are not participating in the economic growth. This has happened in India. For so many years, companies have not invested there. Foreigners are ready to invest. गवर्नमेंट तो पूरा इन्वेस्ट करती जा रही है, अपना बजट का साइज बढ़ाती जा रही है, मीन्स क्या, स्पेंडिंग बढ़ाती जा रही है, लेकिन कंपनीज हैज बीन हेजिटेंट, companies has been hesitant to spend their cash. Again, let's not confuse some companies doing something. There may be different hundreds of other reasons. But most companies spending most of their cash for their expansion, that is what is the lasting and real economic growth. Then goes expansion. So if lots of companies spending lots of their own cash for better technology, for better products, that is the real economic growth. That is the real economic growth that lasts. And then one action leads to another action and it sustains for long time. It sustains for long time. And then again we come to the fourth stage, that is the peak. So I think uh, we have at least the economic cycle part should be now clear. If I have to say, I will say when we should get impressed, when we should get greedy, when we should see that yes, it is a good time to invest in equity market. If we are only looking at the economic cycle, then the best time to invest in the equity market is when lots of people have lots of cash. That is how we can summarize. When lots of people have lots of cash, that is the best time to invest in equity market. तो उसके बाद पीक तक आने के लिए बहुत लंबा टाइम मिलता है. Suppose you start investing lots of your cash at the stage of expansion, then your good part of the economy, good part of your value against the cash is not going to last. So, therefore, when we should be greedy, when we should invest all our cash, when we should start accumulating our cash, when we be sitting with a lot of cash, when we should be sitting with a lot of cash at the peak cycle, when you find the economy is at peak, that is a time we should be accumulating our cash. People will be spending. We should be accumulating our cash. This is the lesson what we have to learn from all this. We don't need to be great economists to describe economic cycle. We need to only learn this much skill set. The final skill set is this much. At the peak of economy, you should start accumulating a lot of cash. There is a time your cash should be investing cash means, है ना? Because we are going to talk about equity market. So our investing cash, that is what it should be at the peak. लोगों का उस टाइम स्टॉक का पीक होगा, but there's a time our cash actually should be peak and the stock should be less. And then we have to follow the same thing with our portfolio. Then we start spending cash. So in the four phases also you see, if you look at it, don't say it economy, say your portfolio versus cash. Same thing you can interpret as portfolio versus cash. Actually the whole thing हम सीख ही क्यों रहे हैं, हम इसीलिए तो सीख रहे हैं ना कि कब हमें ज्यादा खर्च करना है, जब हमें कम खर्च करना है. तो कब हमारे पास कैश होना चाहिए, कब हमारे पास स्टॉक्स ज्यादा होने चाहिए. तो सेम थिंग वी कैन सुपर इम्पोज विद अवर स्टॉक्स. सेक्टर रोटेशन साइकिल अब हमको ये सिखाएगा, दो चीजें सिखाएगा. एक एक आध सेक्टर के बढ़ने से दैट इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ विल नॉट बी लास्टिंग. How these sectors are all interlinked with each other. Is there any mechanism? Is there any mechanism by which the sectors automatically is any value chain of sectors by itself? This is the first thing we will learn. Finally, we will like to learn from the sector rotation cycle. And second thing we like to sector rotation cycle is that can we direct our cash? Can we direct our cash with the sectors which are likely to peak? All sectors don't peak at the same time. So, if we learn that skill, then what will happen? After we have learned the economic cycle, after we have learned the sector rotation cycle, it becomes easier for us to choose the sectors which are going to grow for longer duration. Not that they will grow one day and the second day they will fall. That shouldn't happen. We should be looking at sectors which will have the long growth. We should be looking at a sector which are in currently holding the value